got a mansion in Dubai, and our wardrobe keep us fly. We know you like, hey, we know you like it, yeah. We always winning, and that's no lie. You really wish you had.
Okay. All right. Sacaiah, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me on Ruthless TV today.
Oh,
It's
so
such
much
a
for
pleasure
having
to
me.
have you. Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk some family business. How did you prepare for your role in the family business series?
I watched the whole show. I binged the show right as I found out that I was going to be playing Kenny. That's the first thing I did was I went and I binged the whole entire show. I got a real feel for the universe that we were playing in. I studied the people who were closer to me in proximity and family, like Ben Stevens. I studied his Curtis. I studied the way my dad had played Larry the season prior. Um, and yeah, I watched a lot of Shaft actually too to prepare for the bounty hunter aspect of everything, just trying to, act all intense and stuff like that. I tried to just think about Kenny's upbringing and how he would react in certain situations because he's sort of always vying for his father's love. He's sort of the black sheep of the family. He's never really shown in the mix with everybody else. So I was trying to just kind of to create a persona that embodied that.
Yeah, and you did a great job because there was one scene where you were when you got your dad's car back from LoJack, and there was a touching moment because we kind of saw that you really wanted to please him, so you carried that over very well. I like that scene. All right, so
Thank you.
what's it like working with your dad? Speaking of your father, Stan
It's
Shaw.
it's absolutely incredible. He's my favorite actor to work with. He's always giving me little tips and tricks and always giving me little things and nuances that I might not have seen otherwise. We're always running lines together. We're always in the dressing room together, just, goofing off or doing something like that. It's also really good to be able to see how he holds himself on set. I'd obviously been to a couple sets prior to this one, but it was just interesting. That was a big difference to be able to see how he navigated it when he was actually on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what can fans expect? We're going to talk about the spinoff for just a moment because I know that you're a part of that. How did you feel when you found out that you were going to be a part of the spinoff as well? Was it
When I found out I was going to be a part of the spinoff, I was absolutely over the moon. I was so excited. I was so excited. Plus, that meant I was going to be able to work with Pooch Hall. I was going to be able to work with Brandon T. Jackson. Both absolutely lovely people. I've met them both. They're both super awesome, great actors. I'm really excited that they're coming on this journey with us. And yeah, it's just great. It's an overall great time, and I'm absolutely loving every minute of it.
good? It's a good time. All right, so tell us about what fans can expect out of your character Kenny on this journey to New Orleans.
We can expect a more rounded Kenny. We can expect Kenny outside of just being on the job. I know a lot of the family business and Kenny's involvement in it was, based around him working. It was based around Kenny shooting people, Kenny getting the job done, Kenny getting down to the nitty and gritty. And of course, it's Kenny, so we're still going to be in a little bit of hot water for sure. But yeah, we get to see Kenny a little more relaxed, a little more in his element, and he's definitely still going to be knocking heads. But there's a lot more depth to what goes on with Kenny in the family business New Orleans, and I'm really excited to have been able to portray that and bring it forward. And yeah, I hope I was able to do him justice.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
Thank you.
How does your experience on the original show influence the approach to the spinoff?
It definitely influenced my approach to the spinoff as far as I would have played it a lot different if I hadn't seen the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like say I had gone to play Kenny and then I'd gone to play Kenny again. If I had just done my lines, he would have been a much different character as far as me. But I'm actually just a fan of the show, to be honest. So really cool. It's like I just get to sort of insert the parts of Kenny that I would like to see in the show, and yeah, it honestly works really well. I think that's just a good rule of thumb for me, that honestly after this franchise I'm going to continue that onto my next franchises. To be, if I'm going to be doing something, I want to be a fan of the project so that I can deliver it to the fans who deserve it the way they would. Yeah.
Absolutely. How cool is that? Can you share any behind the scenes moments or challenges that you may have faced while filming the spinoff?
Any challenges I may have faced? Yes, yeah, yeah. So Kenny, the most emotional that we saw Kenny in the last show in the Family Business season 4 was when he was talking to Nene at the end, right before him and Larry left and decided to head out. Um, in New Orleans, we get to see a little bit more of. I'm not going to necessarily say because Kenny was he was watching his mother be disappointed in him. That's what kind of prompted his emotions at the end of the show, or at the end of the 4th season. But in this one, we get to really see Kenny snap a little bit because he snapped, not because someone necessarily perceived him doing something he was already okay with. Just
Mhm.
some things go wrong for him, and it was really different. I'm not gonna say it was difficult for me to portray that, but it was difficult for me to make my choice on how Kenny was going to process the information and process his grief and process what he's going through, and just the complete utter feeling of a control freak having absolutely no control whatsoever.
Oh, wow. So tell us, what storyline in the new spinoff are you most looking forward to?
I'm trying to say something without giving too much away. I'm excited to see Kenny's relationship with Lauren grow, because there's always been so much implied context between the two of them. And I'm excited to see some more of that relationship be shown on screen. I work really, really well with Naira, and yeah, that's going to be really great. I'm really excited to see to be able to see Kenny and Curtis on screen together, because we finally have shot our first scene together. And yeah, it's gonna be incredible. And there's a lot of new stuff too that I'm not talking about yet. So
I, I,
you can
I
watch this. Don't be calling me no Tom Holland. I didn't say nothing.
you're safe with me. Trust me. Okay. Also, let's switch gears for just a quick moment and tell us a little bit about what inspired, because I know you're a comedian, very funny, by the way. What inspired you to pursue stand up alongside your acting career? Because you're doing both at the same time.
Right, right. Well, let's be honest. First of all, acting and stand up have kind of traditionally gone together for some. I'm in the show with a couple great stand-ups themselves. Brandon T, he does stand up. Flex, obviously,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
and but yeah, yeah, yeah. I started watching Kevin Hart, Eddie Murphy when I was a kid. Chappelle Show, Key and Peele. I came up on all that, and then yeah, getting into high school, some of my friends were really into comedy as well, so they put me on to comics like Bill Burr or your Patrice O'Neil's, or guys like that. And at first, I wasn't watching it to do it. I was just kind of watching it as entertainment, and then it just became sort of all my YouTube searches were all stand up this, stand up that, comedians on podcasts, things like that. And I just like really absorbed all the information. I was a real sponge about it.
Mhm.
And my dad was actually a really good friends with Richard Pryor back in the day too, so that.
Uh, my favorite.
But yeah, at first I was watching it sort of like just admiring from afar, oh, I could never do anything like that. But then one day I was just, I've been watching it for a long enough time. I was like, I realized I've really just been studying this, and like, so I have all this random comedy knowledge, all of these comedic greats that, I walk up to my friends and they have no idea who I'm talking about, but I'm like so into it. And I'm like, you know what? I need to go start comedy. So one, I have people to talk to about this.
Yeah.
Two, I need to get all these thoughts out of my head. And three, it just helps me center myself, it helps me become more calm. It helps me get all my crazy thoughts out so I can listen to the ones that are smart.
Yeah, the ones that matter. Tell me about the first time that you went on stage, and I know that you probably weren't as good as you are now, but tell me about what were you going through the first time that you got up there.
Yeah, yeah, no, I didn't make a single soul laugh for about 6 months after I started. It
Wow.
took me a good 6, 7 months to get a good laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time I went up on stage, I'm trying to remember what I even said. It wasn't real. It wasn't true. So whatever it was. But I was trying to do kind of like a mixture between like, I was trying to like walk like Eddie Murphy and pace myself like Kevin Hart and sound like Cat Williams, and all of it just didn't go well at all. And it got me used to being on the stage. for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Once you hear that silence after
Mhm.
you tell your first bad joke, once you hear that silence, uh, well, one, now you know you're good because nothing worse than that can happen on stage unless you're Chris Rock, but that's a different story. I'm saying once you hear that silence,
Yeah.
there's nothing worse can happen. Like just go up. Why not?
Yeah.
And it's really tough at first, but then it just sort of becomes like a challenge, and like the silence is taunting you, like, oh, you can't make them laugh, and I'm like, yes, I can.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I just got to the point where I was just trying to be myself. It took me a long time to be myself on stage, and that's another thing I heard. I think it was on the Rogan podcast. He said the best comic that you can be is when you are the guy in the parking lot on stage, when you're
Yeah.
just having a conversation with everybody, and take the stage away, take the microphone away. You just you just let everybody into what you think is funny, and talk about yourself and talk about experiences you've had or things you've witnessed. And if it's funny to you, it'll be funny to the people listening to you if you can tell it right.
Exactly. Storytelling. Absolutely. That's a part of it. All right. So what can we look forward to career wise? Like, I know because stand up and television is quite different. Like, do you enjoy both? Is one more challenging than the other one?
For me, stand-up is way more challenging, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been acting since I was 11. I've been acting in the industry on camera since I was 17. I'm 23 right now, so yeah, it's I'm still newer to stand-up too. I'm only like 10 months in. But yeah, I definitely have a love for both. And I'm doing stand-up dates all the time. I'm in and around clubs in LA. I post those on my Instagram, and as far as film goes, I've got a movie that actually just dropped today, 1992, Tyrese Gibson and Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
I now don't go see the movie and then come back and tell me, hey, you lied, you weren't in it. I was in it. You probably saw my foot. All right, so get that straight right now. I was there.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, you were in it. That's all that matters.
I was in it. And yeah, I'm auditioning all the time. I'm kind of in the middle of writing a couple movies right now. I'm more focused on one than the other two, but yeah, I'm writing some stuff as well. So, we'll be pushing stuff out. I'll always be pushing projects, and I'm always gonna try and keep people updated on Instagram and socials and things like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm barely on Instagram, but when I catch it, I do enjoy what I see. So you're pretty good. I like it.
Thank you.
All right. So speaking of social, tell us where we can find you on social media.
Okay. I'm assuming my name's going to be down here. So it's my
Absolutely.
name, Sacaiah Shaw on Instagram. And then that's Sacaiah Shaw Funny on TikTok and on YouTube. That's just, for my comedy mostly. And Sacaiah Shaw 1 on X if you want to hear random things I have to say like once every 4 months. And yeah, those are my socials. I don't have anything else to say.
Hey, well, anything else that you want to share before we conclude?
No, but I would like to say thank you so much for having me on. I've been watching the show for a while, since I actually got on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was cast was the first day I saw your channel, so I've been watching since then. So it's been.
Oh, thank
I'd love
you.
to watch it. I'm very honored to be a part of it.
Thank you. You're a friend of the show now. It's official. So
Awesome.
much,
One of my bucket list goals.
we tried this a couple of times, and I think this one was a success. So thank you so much. I appreciate you, and you enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you so much. You've been lovely.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
We got a mansion in Dubai and a wardrobe